So I wanted to do something a little bit different for this next mystery. We are taking you 3 city slickers out into the country.
Oh boy.
Great.
Into the countryside.
Gone to the country.
I don't understand.
I sound like Kermit.
Somewhere along the roads south of Sharn, we find you all traveling east to a little settlement called Tairnsby, which is along the southern end of the King's Forest. There is no lightning rail going in this direction, so I would like to know how you guys want to be traveling. By foot, by wagon, in a caravan.
Halwyn does not want to be traveling by foot.
Sure.
Is there a source sled station wagon?
My usual source sled is in the shop.
It is
I
very
would
much
imagine.
in the shop, yes.
I think I would just have to get like a new one, right?
Can you just go get a new source sled?
Well, my family owns, I don't want to brag, but we own the second largest used sword sled dealership in Sharn. So
I like how you make it the second largest.
I'm humble.
Yeah.
But
do you think that you could convince your Charlie Brown-esque parents to give you a new source sled after you crashed and wrecked the other one by some unknown means?
Not immediately. Well, I feel like I'm upfront about it was in the line of fire.
Okay.
Like,
wow.
Okay.
I
sure.
mean, they're the ones that pushed me to go work with Uncle Frank. So like,
you told them that you were.
I told him it was a direct result of Uncle Frank's actions that I need a new.
Hey, Mom and Dad.
Okay.
We were in a serial killer's hideout, and
okay, just really top level. I would love for you to roll to manipulate your parents and tell them that
I was trying to be upfront with them.
And telling them that it was Frank's fault and to convince them to get you a new one.
Okay. What do I need to roll for that?
Roll and add your charm.
All right.
This is the manipulate someone move.
I have decent charm.
Okay.
new catchphrase.
That's a 9 plus
nice.
2, which is an 11.
Wow, you do have
That's
decent
awesome.
charm.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like my relationship with my parents is they're just like, whatever. Like, this kid, again, this is the...
They just want you out of the house.
Yeah. They're like, well, he's more chipper than he's been in a while. So,
yeah?
Yeah. Because remember, I was pretty down in the dumps.
Yeah?
That's true.
And,
Yeah,
then you got in a fight club.
Yeah. I had one bruised eye. I was like, hey, Mom.
That happened in the crash.
Yeah. It was in the crash.
Okay, yeah. So you have this loner, this burner
It's a loner.
source sled.
They told me I had to return it. I can't keep it.
Right. If this was an actual modern day vehicle, like what equivalent is this?
It's gotta
like
be a
car?
Volvo station wagon.
Is it nice? Is it not so nice?
Heck no, it's not nice.
It's like a VW bus.
Yeah, it's like a Pinto, like a reliable VW bug station wagon Pinto,
Okay.
a beater, an old beater.
Sure,
car.
an older car. Cool. Okay.
Riding in style.
Do people really fly source sleds out of the city? It seems weird.
That is actually a good point. 'Cause I was thinking, like, why don't they? And then I forgot that the main reason that you can fly source sleds and stuff like that in the city is because there is what's called a manifest zone in Sharn, to where like the plane of like angels and like air and like winds kind of overlaps with Sharn, allowing you to like leverage that for your magical advantage and actually make like flying vehicles and use them easily without needing massive elemental engines.
And to think most cities are just built on coastlines for fishing,
right,
and trade.
yeah.
Interesting.
And that manifest zone, which there are manifest zones like all over, maybe not all over, but there's a lot of them. And then when it kind of overlaps with Feywild or other planes like that, and it affects the natural area. And so that's why they can have those like floating towers up in Sharn much easier than anyone else could. So actually, as fun as that idea is, I do not think that you have a source sled for this. So you
just a straight up normal wagon.
A normal wagon or some horses if you want them. Or
Ooh, horses.
I don't think I've ever ridden a horse before.
wagon, please.
All right, fine.
What about a wagon drawn by horses?
Well, I believe that is implied.
Well, it could be oxen.
Could be
It could be
oxen.
oxen. It's true.
Could be.
I think the horses are faster, right?
What's the D&D RX? The RX.
RX.
Yeah. From Drizzt. The RX. Yeah.
Yes.
So kind of driving down this country road with the clear blue skies out ahead of you is the gang of If It's Mysteries.
Vacation edition.
Yeah, why are we going to...
Good question. You're going to I've already forgotten the name of it.
Terransby.
Terransby. I always want to say Trailsby for some reason. Terransby.
Tarantino.
You're going to Terransby because you have been hired.
Oh.
You have been specifically sought out and hired for a job.
Our reputation's on the up and up, boys.
Yeah. I thought we were just like local, but we got our first gig, our first tour.
Yeah, so we can even do so like we kind of open up on the image of you kind of just driving down this kind of open, empty country road. Towards the south, like kind of on the right hand side of your wagon is the Straits of Shargon, the ocean on the southern end, the southern coast of Breland. And coming up on your left is the massive King's Forest, which is kind of like this manicured rainforest, effectively, that is kept by the royal family. That, true to its name, is pretty much only used by the royal family for hunting. There's strict laws against hunting inside of it. And there have been recently, maybe not that recently, maybe in the last like dozen years or so, kind of a population of ghost tigers in there that have been brought in specifically for hunting. And
Kyle's face.
Yeah,
Excuse me?
This is an audio medium, but Kyle's face when ghost tigers were mentioned.
yeah.
Excuse where? What?
Ghost tigers.
From whomst?
Well, it was something that the Dragonmark House Vidalis provided for Breland. During the last war, they gave them a lot of what are called magebred animals, which are animals that have been trained through selective mating and through arcane means to be very trainable and super loyal. And
so they're not animals who are fed magic bread?
They could be,
I mean,
maybe.
They're magic in the bread?
Mage bread.
Oh, mage
Mage
bread.
bread.
Gotcha.
Keegan, I don't want to retcon our adventure here, but how do I obtain one of these mage bred animals? Because that is the only thing I want.
Any mage bred animal or one of these ghost tigers?
Honestly, like any. Like I'm kind of on the board for any of them.
Is this about to become Fantastic Beasts?
I want a familiar. That's all I want.
Hey, maybe we can look at that. They are incredibly expensive.
Okay, cool.
Because it
His
is something.
family does own a used car dealership.
Yeah, second biggest.
It is only something that the Dragonmark House of Vidalis can provide. In the war, they provided mage-bred horses, bears, even like rideable bears that were like super obedient. But yeah, they are very, very expensive. And even King Bornel, the king of Breland, was gifted 2 mage-bred ghost tigers by House Vidalis that now stay with him all the time as bodyguards.
So cool.
So yeah, I mean, Kyle, if you want to write that down on your sheet somewhere,
it is written.
Make it a goal, put it out into the world.
Yeah.
And let it return to you.
Yeah.
Word for word, what I'm writing is obtain mage bred animal.
Okay.
Please spell bread.
It is already spelled correctly. I'm sorry.
It's like a mage bred cat. It's just a cat with his face in
anything.
The loaf of bread, in a slice of bread.
Magic bread.
I don't care what it is. I just want one of these.
It counts.
Yep.
Okay.
I will love it the same.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking like Avatar The Last Airbender animals, like they're all just like hybrids of
hybrids. Yeah. When I initially heard of them, I thought they were like really like extra fantastical, and we can kind of maybe lean on that a little bit, but kind of like by the book, they're just like hyper obedient and super trainable, and maybe slightly more like physically capable, enhanced, but not like wild. But maybe one day.
One of my favorite jokes in Avatar The Last Airbender is when they're like, somebody says something about a bear, and Aang's like, "Oh, you mean like a platypus bear?" And they're like, "No, a bear." And he's like, "Oh, you mean like a such and such other mixed thing with bear?"
Yeah.
Like, "No, just a bear." And he's like, "What?
Yeah, Bosco the bear. Anyway, so that tangent came just from describing the natural environment around you. But back to why you were actually hired, we can do kind of a bit of a flashback to when you were hired, back when you were still in Sharn.
Okay.
We'll say like...
How far are we flashing back? Does Frank have a glorious head of hair?
I'm just a day or two.
Is my coat not tattered? Oh, 2 days.
It's not that long ago. It's just a couple of days ago.
I have some bruises that are unexplained.
Maybe. Maybe it's been just a couple of days
Or
since,
very explained.
since your individual one-offs. But you were invited. Tender actually was the one that notified you that you were invited up to the council chambers, way up towards the top of Sharn.
Whoa.
Yeah, much nicer digs than you're typically used to. So we'll say that you're waiting there in these nice counselor chambers, the council chambers of the Councilor Ilyra Boromar. She has invited you to her office. So the three of you are just kind of sitting there, probably waiting for her, just kind of like sitting there doing nothing.
Twiddling our thumbs. Frank is reading a highlights magazine in the waiting room.
Okay.
Has he found Waldo?
Yeah.
What's the difference
He's
in
trying
the
to
two
spot
pictures?
the difference. Yeah. It's like, they're the same picture, I swear.
And Alan just like looks over his shoulder and like
No, Uncle Frank,
finds all of them.
there's a lot of spots here.
And actually, this might be a good time. Did either of you want to like talk about what happened in your individual things with each other? Anything to bring up important? Although, I mean, you two haven't even technically heard Mark's yet, but
Nope.
anything?
Let's just say
Does he look any different? Like, is there something distinguishable about him?
no.
But
He's
then
got
it
one
bruises.
orange
let's
eye
just
now.
say there were sandwiches and murder.
Oh,
Par the course.
yeah.
Pretty typical.
Food and murder is what
Baked goods. Yeah.
that's what our staples.
I should share that.
What'd you do this weekend, Uncle Frank?
Yeah, I met up with some old war buddies down at the VA, and
Oh, cool.
Fantasy VA.
Fantasy VA, and
vampire bears.
vampire affairs, and I did pass along the name that we heard, Kilk, right? Yeah,
You got it. You remember
and
it.
he let me know that is sort of a nom de plume for
What does that mean?
it's like
A
a
name?
interchangeable name that they use when they're like dealing with other gangs in the high up ranks of the Changeling game.
Yes,
Gang.
in typical tyrant fashion.
Yes, thank you, Tyrant. That was the name of the gang.
Interesting. That is cool.
Yeah, so
Yeah, so it's like a shared identity that multiple people assume when they need it.
so like a pen name, if you could write, multiple people could write under
Nom
that.
de crime.
Yeah, nom de crime.
Nom de crime.
Is that like a crime gnome?
Yeah.
A gnome that
Sure.
Oh,
does
God.
Spanish
Sherlock
crime
gnomes.
gnome.
You don't want to
No-
meet a crime gnome.
Nom de crime is the arch nemesis of Sherlock Gnomes.
Can you? Oh, okay.
Oh, jeez, Louise.
I haven't seen those films. He
The
probably
popular
does.
play Sherlock Gnome.
Sherlock gnomes. Yeah.
Dang it! Why didn't we think of that before they did?
Any other nuggets, info nuggets, things that might be useful for other people to know, or just fun?
Is there anyone around? So I know we're kind of in a waiting space. Like, is there like a secretary, administrative assistant, or anybody out there?
No,
You know?
I don't think so. I mean, I think you're kind of more in like the actual office kind of
okay.
waiting room at this point, so not like a main like lobby or anything like that. So
Okay, cool.
I think you're alone.
Okay,
I mean, nice. We have like cucumber water. It's very nice.
interesting.
Top notch.
I'm
Yeah.
like holding the cold glass to my head because it's
Yeah, like this beautiful crystal glass.
yeah, it's cold.
Yeah.
isn't it?
So what happened? What happened to you?
I joined a brotherhood, and they just like to like fight a lot.
I don't even know what to say to that.
This is the best description of it.
It's really low key. I mean, we just hang out at this guy's house and we just like
And fight each other?
yeah, it's cool.
I don't.
Is there money involved? You told me
I
about
should-
it.
I
I
should
recall
check.
now, but
Yeah, no, I said you should come.
yeah.
We fight.
You boys have your fun.
Yeah, we do. Okay.
If anyone's interested in my weekend,
No, I'm good.
all right.
I really got to get to the bottom of this highlights page.
Yeah, no.
Enough distractions.
Yeah, I made a lot of new friends. They want me to get a haircut, but I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna do that.
That's right. You gotta draw the line somewhere. Be your own man. Anyways, Howland, what'd you do?
I don't know if I want to tell you now.
Just then, a knock at the door.
At that moment, you hear, you see a large creature kind of fly. I imagine there's like some windows kind of overlooking, kind of like even like you're probably like cloud level, way up here. And kind of you see something like poking through the clouds amongst like the silhouettes of the other towers, kind of in the daytime, and it's a large pterodactyl-like creature, with a very broad wingspan, a glide wing, which is a common kind of mount in the Talenta Plains for the halflings there. And it's this beautiful pterodactyl-like creature with like this like mottled purple, pink, and green leathery skin. And it kind of flies past the windows, and you see someone riding it, and eventually you kind of see just at the corner through some of the windows it land on a landing pad outside by the offices, and then kind of this halfling woman, kind of taller than most halflings, but with this long, straight brown hair.
So 3 feet.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, but notably taller than most halflings. Stride in and kind of unlock like her back like a patio window, and kind of stride in. And she's dressed very finely. She's fairly young, a little bit on the older end of a young adult, but very hard eyes. And she kind of comes in and kind of like grabs some cucumber water for herself. And
it's very refreshing.
That doesn't quite like even acknowledge you immediately. But then eventually kind of sits up and climbs up into this big chair in front of her big desk.
I'll say Howland stands up when she walks in. Just kind of,
sure.
Be a little respectful.
Frank's still very interested in this highlights page.
Right. And on her desk is this big like gold plaque that says Councilor Ilyra Boromar. And she says, I've heard some very good things about you.
Well, we
that's a first.
Appreciate the praise, my lady. Frank?
Yes, yes, thank you. We have also heard wonderful things about you and your organization.
Thank you. Are you enjoying the highlights?
Let me tell you, this is one of the best I've read in years.
We could be here for hours, my lady.
Uncle Frank, who is that?
Her name is on the desk.
Boromir.
God dang it.
Boromar.
Don't make fun of my speech impediment.
Didn't I steal her gold?
No, you didn't, because your uncle helped you out there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
This conversation isn't happening.
Yeah.
This is a sidebar. Sidebar. Excuse me, counselor. Sidebar.
But yes, one of our House Jarasco agents told me about what happened with you and the Claw recently. As a result of you investigating the deaths of some of our men, and basically I find myself in need of some people that can help me out with a problem right now.
Well, look no further, my lady.
And she says, excellent. Well, what we have, and then she kind of gets distracted and looks outside the window, and you see a second glide wing kind of come up to the landing platform with 2 people on it, another halfling, and then kind of like a tall, thin human person. And the halfling like grabs the human and tosses him off of the glide wing, like falling onto his chest onto the landing pad. And then like you proceed to watch as the halfling drags the human into the office. Like the human is kicking and screaming and looks like bruised and bloody at some points.
I spilled a little bit of my water from the shock value.
Your hands trembling a little.
It's just another Tuesday for Howland.
and Ilyra kind of looks out and says, she doesn't seem too worried about it. She actually says, Castar is here. That's very good news. And the halfling kind of comes in, this bald head with these scars all over her face. He comes in and just like drags this human, like seemingly very strong for his size, and like kind of just like throws him up against the counselor's desk, and like the guy just like falls flat on his face. And then Castar kind of looks at Ilyra, the counselor, and she just kind of nods. And then this bald halfling kind of pulls out this twisted looking dagger and stabs it right through the man's hand into the desk.
Whoa.
Oh my God.
And then the human just like screams in pain.
Frank raises his hand.
She says, yes.
Are we supposed to be here for this part? We can go outside.
I mean,
your business is your business. This seems a little like private.
No, I don't mind at all. I just had 2 appointments today, so I just needed to kind of.
Oh, you were double booked. I
just needed to do this. Will just be very quick.
Yeah, no problem at all.
And she says, Castard, come on, please hurry up, twist the knife. And he kind of like jiggles it around a little bit, and the human starts screaming, who is seemingly like I said, this tall, like thin human with this like moppy brown hair. That you see the human's face start to flicker and change into pale white, and then the hair start to fade away. And you see a changeling struggling to keep their facade up in front of all this. And at some point, the illusion kind of fades entirely, and there's just this gaunt, pale figure kind of just resting there with their hands pinned to the desk in front of you.
Whoa.
Ilyra, does this concern our job? Is this changeling involved?
Not directly, but it does involve my proposition of a sort. Currently, my family is kind of beset on all sides. We are just a hair's breadth away from a full-blown gang war here in Sharn.
Aha! I knew it. I told you.
Good. I'm glad that you're aware of the situation already. And what that means is that we need all hands on deck in our family and in the clan. We have called in any retainers, any clansmen that are still out of the city within reach, and brought them in. We need all of our numbers here. But what happened when we did that was something unfortunate. One of our stables outside the city, in a little place called Cairnsby, got it that time, was robbed, effectively. One of our mounts was stolen. And I cannot afford to send any of our clan out to go find it. So I figured I would contract some investigators to do that.
Hire some temps.
And if memory serves, Councilwoman, those mounts would not be simple horses, would they?
No, they would not.
Are they pterodactyls?
No. Unfortunately, they are not.
Oh, man.
We do not have any breeding grounds for glide wings here, but for clawfoots, we do.
I.e. raptors.
Yes. I.e. velociraptors.
Oh my god.
Was that in character?
So, one of our raptor matrons, Cece, was taken from the stable.
Oh, so there's a missing person as well?
No. Cece's the name of one of the raptors.
Oh, never mind.
She's like the prize.
I thought she was like the matron of the raptors. Now I see she's the alpha female.
She's the queen bee.
The queen, yeah.
Yes.
What's a bee?
There. Okay, we have to have a talk about how a fantasy ecosystem functions.
Oh, the buzzwings.
Oh, yes, the buzzwings, the bumblebutts.
The striped stingers.
Yeah.
That's what you're talking about.
The sharp boys.
The honey bros.
Look at you buzzing around here like a couple of sharp boys.
That's so stupid.
Timmy, I need to talk to you about the birds and the sharp boys.
So yes. Am I clear so far?
So yes,
but of course,
like almost.
Yes. It would not surprise me if this was some sort of desk operation operating outside of Sharn.
Yeah, they're pretty on edge.
Can I ask a question? I just have a question.
Of course, I would be happy to.
Why did they only take one? You said it's a stable, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Why just the one?
That's a good question.
That is a good question. Typically, as soon as we can procure an adult raptor, we bring them into the city. So what's mostly there right now are younger creatures, as well as just a couple of other adults.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good answer.
But I mean, they could have taken more. Yes. So
they just don't want to have to like raise them, I guess. Like if I'm thinking like a criminal, like if I was going to steal your raptor, that's what I would do.
Sure. Yes. I mean, it is if they wanted to cause us harm, they could have burned the place to the ground. I don't know how much luck they would have selling it in any form of black market. So the motive for the theft is strange, certainly.
Any other information your men have been able to gather to this point?
The only thing that has made it back to me yet, and we don't have a whole lot of people down there to investigate this, but all I know is that Cece's partner, her bonded rider, has become gravely ill after her departure. And we suspect some sort of magical foul play in that regard.
If he's like heartbroken.
I was like, Keegan, when you say bonded rider, would we know anything about, like, is there a magical element to when a halfling and a raptor?
Do they imprint?
When a
No, seriously,
man
like,
loves a woman. Speaking of the birds and the buzzbees, or the sharp boys.
The sharp boys.
That's a good question. I don't believe there's any explicit arcane element to it. I think there's like ceremonial elements to it.
Right.
And the
They wear a nice hat.
And a lot of there are like in the Talenta Plains there are like shamans and kind of like a spiritualism in that sense. But as far as this and just that each mount has a bonded rider, I do not think they are arcanely linked.
Okay.
When a shaman does a really good job, do you think they say, "Sham, wow"?
I hate you so much.
You're stretching.
reaching, boy.
A little bit. But after she explains it, she says, yeah, so I have been hearing good things about you, and to know that you have a House Thrashk member with a dragon mark is also very impressive and would be very useful in locating our raptor. And just like silence.
Everyone, yeah.
Silence falls as everyone looks at Frank.
You do have a dragon mark?
Yes.
Okay.
It should come in handy.
and just also to make that clear is that your dragon mark is the mark of finding, which does give you, which theoretically gives you magical advantages in locating and tracking things.
Yes.
We haven't really brought that into play yet, but it is just a thing that you have to be aware of.
Frank is very good at using magic. That's why we've done it a bunch.
I mean, it's not so much using magic because it's
innate.
Like, yeah, it's innate. So it's you don't really have to worry that much about it.
Councilwoman, I do have a quick question. We're very excited about the job prospect. Do you have a way for us to get there? Because we are city boys.
My car broke down. My sled.
Your whip.
Do you have anything you could spare to help us get on our way there? If not, we totally understand. But I'm just asking to ask.
Yes, I mean certainly we could fit you with a reasonable wagon with some fine horses to pull it.
Wonderful. You're very gracious and kind.
Yep. That'll work out.
Great. At that point, the changeling that's pinned to the desk tries to pull their hand up and just tears this big gash in their hands. They attempt to run away, but the other halfling caster just grabs their head and just slams it back into the desk.
Ooh.
And then Ilyra's like, I think that wraps up our business. I have this whole thing to attend to, if you wouldn't mind.
But of course, you're entertaining.
Of course, I do want to say that I love the land, the public land that your house bequeathed to the city. Use it all the time. It's my favorite. Jurassico Park is my favorite in the whole city.
God.
I smoke there sometimes.
Oh my gosh.
I'm actually a little bit mad that I didn't realize that connection.
Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I mean, because her name is Boromar, but she has half Jurassico. But
stupid.
That's a good joke.
She rode in on a dinosaur. I mean, it's
yeah.
It's right there. It's right there in front of you.
It's just there, waiting the whole time.
Yeah, that was good.
I'm seeing more merchandising opportunities.
I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget it because I thought of it about 15 minutes ago.
I saw the word park. I saw the word park, and I was like, "What is he writing?"
That's good. I'm glad those are the notes that you take.
Park.
Yeah, nothing important. Just things.
Just jokes to make later.
Yeah,
that's it.
Don't forget this pun.
So with that concluded, she kind of sees you out. And as you open the door, there's someone kind of there waiting for you. This kind of, or not really necessarily waiting for you, but waiting out there. This middle-aged, gruff-looking man with a thick mustache and dark hair, dressed in the City Watch armor. And he just kind of gives you all a nod and then strides in. It's just, Captain Brixton, come on in. And he's kind of strides in, and the door closes behind him.
You think he's important?
I'm writing it down.
Yeah, he's a man about town. Let's go find these horses. I love a horse.
Of course.
Love a horse. I love a horse.
and
I got the horse right here. His name is Paul Revere.
Yeah, so just to clarify, Brixton was a captain of the City Watch. So he's going into the counselor's chamber while they have a bleeding changeling on the desk. And
Sounds
also,
right.
again, seems pretty chill about it.
Sounds all right.
Yeah.
Showing how the city operates.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Iron Fist.
Pretty much. She double booked, triple booked, possibly intentionally.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's how they do. They want to show you
Yeah.
who's in charge.
Yeah. Exactly.
And what happens,
Yeah.
in the same fell swoop, they hire you and show you what happens if you screw with them. It's brilliant, really.
That was not the changeling from the other night, correct? We did not recognize him.
It was not.
I don't know how we would ever know.
So we can flash forward back to your actual riding. We'll say you stock up appropriately, you get your wagons, you grab some bagels from Maximum Rise before leaving.
How long of a trip is it?
Roadies.
2 days.
2 days. Ugh.
2 days of travel.
We're camping out.
What time of
That's
year
the
is
whole
it?
song.
What's the weather like?
It's still like summerish, early fallish.
Great. I'm
something
complaining.
like there.
I'm complaining about the heat.
So yeah, I think it is pretty warm.
Oh, it's lovely. Frank's got his shirt off, but his trench coat on.